Hello and welcome back to the Soccer Brothers Podcast. This is episode number 47. I'm your host, Sakatan. As always, I'm joined by my brother, Nihal. Are you excited for the Copa America, Nihal?
I am super hyped, man. I'm so excited for this summer of soccer, especially the Copa America. Our first major men's tournament on home soil since the 1994 World Cup. How awesome is that? The first one in our lifetime.
The Gold Cup is in a major tournament?
Okay.
How dare you? Okay. But before we get in depth about the Copa America, we first need to talk about the amazing soccer-themed clothing brand named Ambitious Strike. If you want to check out their merchandise, go to ambitiousstrike.com. Enter the code BROTHERS at checkout for 15% discount. It's a great deal. Helps you. It helps them. It helps us. Helps everyone. And without further ado, why don't we get into the Copa America? More specifically, the U.S. and the Copa America. Now, the U.S. is going to kick off their Copa America campaign on June 3rd against Colombia at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time in
the Bay Area.
The Bay Area, where the 49ers play, in fact.
Yeah, Levi Stadium. It's a big week for the Bay Area, man. San Jose are in the NHL Finals. Golden State are in the NBA Finals, and they're hosting the U.S. national team. It's going to be an exciting match. I'm really, really excited for it. Hopefully the U.S. can hold their own. It's probably the toughest game since the U.S. played Belgium at the World Cup, at least on paper going into the tournament. We obviously lost to Jamaica, so I can't really say anything on that front.
We got blown out by Brazil, but like in a competitive. Yeah. So yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, I mean, how much pressure do you think there is going to this game? Because, I mean, obviously, I think you can kind of see the pressure in the U.S. men's national team when we went up against Mexico in our pretty much, well, not our last competitive game, but one of our last really big games, not including World Cup qualifiers. So, how much pressure do you think is going to be on the players in this one?
On the players, I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure, to be honest. From who? The fans?
No, just do you think they'll feel pressure? Because, I mean, this is the only time they may ever play this tournament. They may be the only 23 group of guys that do what is about to happen.
That's true. When you say it like that, there is some pressure. There's definitely pressure to get a result. Because in order for the U.S. to advance, they probably need to get a draw in this match. They could get 2 wins against Costa Rica and Paraguay, but that's going to be a very, very tough task. I think getting a draw puts them in a really, really, really good position. We do have the home field advantage that should lift us. It looks like we finally have a system that this team is all going to buy into. We have Nagbe and Pulisic coming off the bench, hopefully. That's a recipe for success. And
well, hopefully one of them starts at least.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm okay with neither of them starting, to be honest. But with those players, with the starting 11 on the field that we expect to see, and with some of the players coming off the bench, I think this is one of the strongest U.S. teams we've fielded in a very long time. Maybe ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that.
At least in terms of talent.
Yeah, talent-wise, yeah. Right, well, let's start with the back line. I think the back line that we both want to see, starting from left to right, would go Fabian Johnson, John Anthony Brooks, Jeff Cameron, DeAndre Yedlin.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's what we're going to see. I don't see anything different. And in goalkeeper, Brad Guzan, we already know what's going to happen. As I said in the past podcast, 2 center backs who can play with the ball on their feet. 2 attacking fullbacks who can both defend. DeAndre Yedlin probably better than Fabian Johnson. Who would have thought I would ever say that? At least this soon. I think by far our best back line we've ever fielded, if those are our 4.
Yeah, definitely.
4 players starting in 2 of the best 3 leagues in the world, potentially. It's incredible. It's incredible to have that.
In the last friendly, we saw, like you said, Brooks and Cameron have somewhat of a creative ability, especially for center backs. And do you think that they were pretty aggressive in some of the past friendlies? Do you think that we're going to see that against Colombia? Or are they going to be a little bit more passive because of the sheer talent on the offensive side?
I think the game is going to... I think we'll have spells of possession. I was watching the Portugal game recently, a replay of the USA-Portugal game. That's a game we played extremely well in. We dominated.
The World Cup?
The World Cup match, yeah. So I think that could happen, but I really do see us maybe sitting back a little more and letting Colombia come at us, and I think that'll prevent Fabian Johnson and DeAndre Edlin from going forward as much as they like to. It might open up in certain areas. We might have spells of possession, which we've had before. But I think Colombia are going to have the possession. I think DeAndre Edlin and Fabian Johnson are going to be told to stay back, absorb the pressure. You know, they have Carlos Baca as striker. They have Juan Cuadrado at right wing. They have James Rodriguez either on the left or at central attacking midfield. They have a good central midfield. They have a good defense. So, you know, it's a great team. As we saw in the World Cup, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to take the match to them. If we do, I will be very pleasantly surprised. I will be ecstatic if we show like we did against Portugal in the World Cup. Because those are the kind of strides we need to see. Even if we lose 2-1 or 3-2 or something and we see that, I'll be excited for the future. I'll be mad in the moment, but looking back on it, I promise you, I will appreciate that type of play.
Yeah, definitely. And that almost always starts with the midfield, because it is almost where Michael Bradley plays that dictates the way we play. And, you know, so what we've been big proponents of as of late has Michael Bradley been playing the defensive midfield role in a 4-3-3, in a three-man midfield, and Jermaine Jones or Nagbe, but we think we're going to see Jermaine Jones and Bedoya up ahead of him. And you think that's who we're going to see, right?
Yeah, I think that's who we're going to see. And if you substitute Nagbe for Jones or Bedoya, I'd be fine as a starter. Or if we see him off the bench, I think he provides something excellent that, you know, I don't think we've ever seen before in a substitute, a super dynamic substitute. I think Darlington Nagbe could start in the next match against Costa Rica, or potentially against Paraguay. Probably not going to happen in this match, just because he hasn't even started either of the friendlies that he was called up for. So, as you said, I think Bradley, the defensive midfield, as we talked about before, allows him to play those wonderful chip-through balls, those wonderful lob passes, allows him to take those long shots, create from deep, get back on defense, sort of be the general, Il Generalissimo, as they called him at Chievo Verona. So he's allowed to be that. Jermaine Jones can be that sort of box-to-box midfield. He can act as a destroyer, but also use his creative elements going forward, break up the play at the back, push forward, play those 1-2s like we saw with Nagbe, maybe take a long shot here, send in a nice driven through ball like we've seen before, and then Bedoya to just be another workhorse who can pick out a pass like we saw with Gyasi Zardes. I think it's a really, really good midfield trio.
And you mentioned Gyasi Zardes, and I think Gyasi Zardes does have a tendency to pinch in. Like we said, we see him playing through the middle a lot. And that makes sense because we also see Alejandro Bedoya, center midfielder, peel out a lot. So they'll kind of interchange places sometimes. And we've already seen a Bedoya cross to Zardes for a goal, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I expect to see some of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great through ball from Bedoya against Bolivia. But with Carlos Zapata back there, and some other really, really good defenders, Jason Murillo, Santiago Arias, it's going to be hard to crack that defense, much harder than it was against Bolivia. So, you know, those guys, Bedoya, Jones, Dempsey, they need to be more creative than they even were in the friendlies, I think. But I think playing, you know, we're probably going to talk about the forwards in a second now. And I think we both agree that it's going to be Wood, Dempsey, and Zardes. Yeah. Dempsey coming back into midfield, finding those passes, maybe coming back, beating a man on the ball, using his wonderful dribbling ability like we saw against Turkey and leading up to the last World Cup, like we saw against Ghana in that first goal, like we've seen throughout his career, being able to use his ability while also distributing, while also maybe putting himself into scoring positions, is the ideal position for him going into this tournament. It also allows us to maybe have a little bit more defensive cover with him dropping deep, and I think Jurgen Klinsmann has maybe found the recipe for success in this tournament. And I think that's why I'm confident that we can get a draw. I mean, this is the most optimistic I've ever been about this team, I think.
Before the Puerto Rico, or maybe before the Ecuador friendly, you were saying something about, or basically before we got the roster, the 23-man roster, you were saying, well, we know that Fabian Johnson's going to play left back, and that disappointed you a little bit. I think I remember. Have you changed your mind about that?
No, because I think Fabian Johnson playing up the field like we saw against the Netherlands, like we saw against St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is a completely different player than he is coming from deep. And I think he's an excellent crosser of the ball. He's excellent on the dribble. He can get in behind. You know, those are things you want in an outside midfielder. And also, he can provide that defensive cover from midfield that not a lot of other midfielders can provide. Of course, we're playing his 4-3-3 with a winger. I still think he can play that position well. And I'm disappointed to not see him at left wing. And as much as I love Edgar Castillo, I would much rather see him at left back than maybe Bobby Wood on the left wing than I would see Edgar Castillo and Fabian Johnson pushed up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I think, there's a potential for us to see Edgar Castillo, because the thing is, Edgar Castillo is an attacking fullback too, so it's not like we're gaining any defensive cover there.
Yeah.
I think if we want to have our best 11 on the field, Fabian Johnson is playing fullback.
And I think part of the reason that makes sense is because it allows Zardes and Wood to go ahead of Dempsey, because they both have played striker before. Mm-hmm. Zardes and Wood are wingers that were playing.
They are strikers.
They are strikers.
Yeah.
And Dempsey playing a false 9 wouldn't really allow Fabian Johnson to play that same role. I mean, you've seen him get forward through the center and score before, but still, he does like to have a number 9 in the middle, and I don't think he would have that with this. So I think that makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and what do you expect of Dempsey in this tournament, though, overall?
I think we are going to see more assists than he's ever had in the tournament, in any tournament he's played in. He has played on outside midfield before, but he's always sort of cut in and been that kind of Ronaldo-esque winger. Maybe not. I mean, not like Ronaldo exactly, but you know what I mean. Like cutting inside, getting the shot, getting the shot. Really, we saw that in the 2010 World Cup. This time, he's going to be much more of a distributor. Whoever it is on the wings, whether it's Zuzi, Wood, Zardes, Pulisic, he's going to be the guy distributing. And if someone like Wanda comes on late in the match, I feel like he's also going to be the one who's trying to find that final pass. That's not to say he won't score goals, but I think this could be a very good tournament for Clint Dempsey in terms of him being a creator and being that false 9. It's something we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good look right now, and I think he's deploying the right wingers to pair up with him, and yeah, and I think that also helps Bradley play some of those long balls that he really loves to play to the outside because of these very pacey wingers that we have right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and Dempsey has a connection with Michael Bradley. We know that. They've played so much together, and we've seen that connection before. They're able to play off of each other. Dempsey knows where Bradley's going to be and vice versa. So if they're sort of playing close together with Dempsey with coming back into midfield, Bradley being that sort of general, I think that lends itself to a very, very successful U.S. attack going forward, even though we don't have a traditional striker or even traditional wingers. Yeah. I mean, I think I said this to you yesterday or the day before. I don't think we're going to have a standout scorer in this tournament. I think it's going to come from a little bit of everywhere. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And if we win off, a set piece goal or something, I mean, you don't have to complain about that. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I mean, John Brooks is good on set pieces, and we're yeah. If let's say Bedoya is taking the set piece and Michael Bradley's in the box, that's not going to happen. Michael Bradley's probably going to be taking the set piece, but we have John Brooks, who's proven he can score on set pieces. We have Jeff Cameron, who's proven he can score on set pieces against Mexico, against Belgium. We have Clint Dempsey, who's done it his entire career. If Christian Pulisic's playing, he's not. People don't see him as a guy who can head it, but we've seen it with the U19s. He's been heading it all year. Zardes is a tall guy. He can head it. Wood can head it. A lot of his goals have come from headers. Even Jermaine Jones can do that. He's done it for Colorado. We have guys who can win the ball in the air in the box. Set pieces are not a bad thing. The thing is, I want to see us look good, and if we score from set pieces, that's a bonus. We shouldn't be relying on those set pieces. I think that's the problem a lot of U.S. fans have had in the past. And I think that's the fine line there. You can score on set pieces and still look good in possession. That's not necessarily what happened against Ghana, with John Brooks' second goal. Yeah, I mean, if we look as progressive as we have, and we're finally getting some of that pre-press conference 2014 World Cup talk that Klinsmann was talking about that proactive type of soccer, then it'll be fine. But like you said, it's not like we haven't seen it before. We saw it
against Portugal. And although we weren't necessarily proactive against Belgium, we won the possession battle. And that's something I always like to harp on. We won the possession battle. And I don't know how many podcasts I've said this on. I'm a huge critic of Klinsmann, but I feel like he has found the recipe for success.
Yeah.
I'm really optimistic.
Whether or not he chooses to use the recipe.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, possession's fine. And I think that's a stat that's, I think, the U.S. won possession against Belgium, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a difference between, meaningful possession and meaningless possession. And, but I don't think that's the type of possession that we're going to see if we play like we did in these friendlies. But
so you think we'll find meaningful possession?
I don't know about Colombia exactly. Klinsmann has a lot of balls if he's going to play like we did against Bolivia, against Colombia. But if we go out there and concede a few goals and look decent in trying and put a decent effort going forward, we really need Bradley to play that holding midfield if we want that to happen. But
do we have the talent to do that? Is our midfield good enough to match up against that midfield and win the possession?
That's where I'm not sure. I'm so comfortable with Darlington Nagbe not starting because he doesn't need 3 touches to get the ball out of his feet, like I've said before.
Yeah,
and I think Jermaine Jones is just a little bit less proactive. I know he's been playing attacking mid for the Rapids, but I still don't think he's got that same offensive presence that Darlington Nagbe does.
Right. I think it's important to know that Jermaine Jones is one of the most talented players we've ever had on the U.S. national team, going forward and defensively. This is a man who was a stalwart for Schalke. I love Darlington Nagbe, but Jermaine Jones, everywhere he's gone in MLS, their team has had success. We saw him come to New England, and the team completely turned around. They became title contenders. We saw him go to Colorado, and they're doing well before he came into the lineup, but they're first in the West, and they're scoring goals.
Yeah.
He played consistently for Schalke. He had a great spell at Blackburn in the Premier League, a loan spell. This man can play soccer.
I agree with you.
And Darlington Nagbe, I agree, should be a starter.
In his place.
But having, it's not like Jermaine Jones is a dud. You know what I mean? He's still a great player. And I think having both of those options is excellent. And like I said, they're going to be switching out. I agree with you. Maybe Nagbe's play is good to keep possession against Colombia. I would agree with that. So maybe we play Jones and Nagbe and not Bedoya. Maybe play Bedoya on the wing instead of Zardes. I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
but
I don't think I agree with that either. Okay. So what I was saying before was Bedoya is allowed to drift wide because Zardes pinches in. All 3 of our strikers are forwards, pretty much. Yeah. And Dempsey's basically the deepest line forward.
All 3 forwards are strikers.
Yeah, sorry. And if you do, the problem right now is that we have no width on the left side. Because Bobby Wood, we actually did in the Bolivia match. He did a good job of creating space, but naturally he's gonna want to stay centrally.
But right? isn't that why Fabian Johnson is there?
Yes, but I think that is cause for concern. If we said before, and even against Bolivia, we had a few scares when our fullbacks were so far upfield. Our fullbacks with this play style, they shouldn't have to do as much.
Okay, but here's the thing. Fabian Johnson can go forward if DeAndre Edlin is knowing, and DeAndre Edlin and Michael Bradley know he's going forward. You know what I mean? There's a way to do this that works. Fabian Johnson goes forward, DeAndre Edlin stays back, maybe Michael Bradley comes in between the center backs.
Yeah.
Not only that, we have 2 fast center backs. We have another incredibly fast fullback, a dynamic defensive midfielder, Jermaine Jones, who is a 2-way midfielder. We have defensive cover, I feel like. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but this is a more defensive defense than we saw in the World Cup. We had DeMarcus Beasley and Fabian Johnson as our fullbacks. And we gave up, 1 goal against Ghana, 2 goals against Portugal.
1 goal against Germany.
1 goal against Germany for 6 goals in 4 matches. which is a lot.
Yeah.
But that's with a more offensive defense. I feel like we can reel it in this tournament. And I feel like Fabian Johnson, I know it's scary on left back. I'm kind of nervous. But if Klinsmann plays his cards right, if he instructs this team correctly, it can work. And it will work.
Yeah.
But, bottom line, I do agree with you. I think Nagbe...
Yeah. I think Nagbe on the field allows Bobby Wood to play a role that he's more comfortable with, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I agree with you. But, I'm committed to the 4-3-3.
No. Yeah, I'm just saying start Nagbe over Jones. And that's fine. We'll see how it happens. And I think that Nagbe will bring... I don't think he's ever started in the midfield. He started at winger in that one game. Right?
I know this is sort of very situational and very specific, but if we hold our own with Jermaine Jones in the midfield, if he does what he does, we have a good amount of possession, we have chances, they have chances, we're up 1, they're only up 1, it's a draw, and then we have Darlington Nagbe coming off the bench, either to hold on to the victory or to create a spark in that offense. That's something to be scared of if you're Colombia. And I will say this, we have seen many players before who have been impact players off the bench who have not been good from the start. That's happened. Mixed Discrew is a good example of that. We haven't seen Nagbe start a match for this national team, ever. So...
Oh, no, maybe we haven't.
No, we haven't.
Even on the right wing?
No, it hasn't happened.
In his debut? Okay,
no,
he didn't.
It hasn't happened. So... that's something to think about. Although I do think he'd be a capable starter and he'd help this national team, that is something to think about. Jermaine Jones has World Cup and Bundesliga experience.
Yeah.
He has big match experience. So, Nagbe, although he's a calm player, he's an exciting player, and I think he's probably one of our best midfielders.
But the most important
someone who's comfortable playing against an opponent like Colombia is very vital. Having someone who won't be nervy, who won't be rash, hopefully, against a player like James Rodriguez is incredibly vital. This is a guy who played against Iron Robin twice a year. Thomas Muller twice a year. Miroslav Klose at his peak twice a year. This is a guy who knows... Jermaine Jones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A guy who knows what he's doing against top players. And Colombia is a team that can...
Don't you think...
Colombia is a team that can be agitated. And Jermaine Jones is the best agitator on the national team, maybe besides Clint Dempsey. That's also vital, That's also something you can capitalize on. Rash tackles, rash challenges.
Yeah. No, I mean, the reason I'm such a big proponent of Nagbe is not necessarily because he's a better player, but just because I think he fits better into this current system.
I agree with you.
And also, we have a lot of experience without Jermaine Jones.
Yeah,
I mean, our keeper has played against Aguero and Hazard and whoever else. Same with Jeff Cameron and who else is on our midfield? Bedoya's played against Ibrahimovic.
But, did any of those play Champions League consistently?
Fabian Johnson.
No, not consistently.
Not consistently.
I mean, that's what I'm talking. Jermaine Jones is not. You can't. It's all about intangibles too. It's something that you can't understate. And I agree, Nagbe fits the system, and I would love to see Nagbe start. I just think people are underselling Jermaine Jones going into this tournament. And he's not the same player he used to be, but he still has the mental wherewithal. He still has the awareness that he had. He has the vision. And if anything, he's more disciplined. And I think that's really good going forward.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We'll see what happens in this match. Hopefully Nagbe will come off the bench, but then we can evaluate that
right
ahead of the second.
And Nagbe's a calm player. He knows what he's doing, too. Mm-hmm. 129 appearances for Schalke. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this tournament, in short. I think our midfield... We've never had this kind of discussion where there are two able midfielders. We've had a discussion where there's one who clearly shouldn't be in there, and the other one should. But these are two guys who I think are pretty even.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and I think sorry. Before we move on, and I think like we've had plenty of discussions about Gyasi Zardes in the past, but well, first of all, I think he quieted us down a little bit after what he did against Bolivia, and also I think that this midfield allows Zardes to be way more comfortable, and I think that's why we're not complaining that much.
It plays to his strengths.
Yeah.
And, I just preached about experience and all that stuff, but I think Pulisic is a better player right now. The thing is, Darlington Nagbe and Jermaine Jones are closer in talent level than Gyasi Zardes and Christian Pulisic are. So...
I think we've only seen Pulisic... I think we've only seen Pulisic in a game when Nagbe's been in the game.
Maybe. I don't know if that happened against Guatemala.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that. Yeah.
But yeah, in the friendlies, that's
Yeah.
happened. And having both of those guys come on at the same time is really scary.
Yeah.
And I don't want to undersell Graham Zusi. I was watching the World Cup games. I mean, you didn't know this, but I've been watching them the last couple of days.
Okay, yeah.
Graham Zusi was excellent. He really was.
Yeah.
He's also an able player in the center or out wide. So I really do think this is one of the deepest teams, if not the deepest team we've ever had, going into a major tournament. Last summer, forget about it. Ventura Alvarado should not have been a starter. Timmy Chandler shouldn't have started some of those matches. Michael Bradley is not a center attacking midfielder. This is a deep team. This is a team that knows how to play together. They know their role. They have a plan. That's what excites me. That's what excites me more than anything.
And the only reason Bradley was ever moved into that role for the U.S. national team was because of an injury in the 2014 World Cup, right? That's the first time we saw that after Dempsey got hurt. So he was forced to push up.
But he was replacing Josie Altidore in style of play.
Did I say Dempsey was injured? I meant Altidore was injured, sorry.
Yeah, but Dempsey was trying to replace Altidore in that style of play.
Yeah.
He was trying to be the lone forward, the center forward, the true out-and-out striker. This is different. This is Clint Dempsey, yes, playing up top alone, but dropping back into midfield and having a plan for him dropping back into midfield, not having that crowded midfield like we saw in the World Cup, and having players run off of him. When you had Alejandro Bedoya and Graham Zusi on the wing at the World Cup, those are two players who are not going to make the runs that Bobby Wood and Gyasi Zardes are going to make. They're not strikers. Yeah. They're going to stay out wide. They're going to pass it laterally. They're going to look for a cross. And if Dempsey's not there, there's no one to cross to. Now, you have Dempsey coming back. You have Wood and Zardes getting in behind. You have Fabian Johnson making the outside run. DeAndre Yedlin maybe. Jermaine Jones going forward through the middle. This allows us to play through the middle more. And that's, like I said, that's what excites me. And I think this lends itself to Clint Dempsey's strengths.
Yeah, definitely. All right, why don't we move into more of the Copa America generally? We're going to do our
what do you think is going to happen in this match?
Oh, yeah, I thought about this, actually. So, I think it's going to be 2-1 Colombia. And I think Colombia is going to score an early goal just from a great attacking play. No one's really fault. And then they're going to score a goal after a set piece that we have, like a corner, and then on the counterattack they score. And then late game, I think, our subs are going to come on and we're going to get one back. But it's not going to be enough.
Okay, I'm going to go with 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any insight on the goals?
No, I just think when it's a tournament like this, we come to play. And I believe in our national team. Okay. I know that's like the least tactical, the least rational thing that I could say. But I truly believe that.
But we don't want to... No, don't say that.
But that's coupled with us actually having a plan.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, don't throw away the 29 minutes that we've been talking about the improvements of this.
Exactly.
Because we've said this every tournament, and it's been set pieces and scrappiness that has bailed the U.S. men's national team out. But we're going to be a competitive nation,
Right. Colombia has those players. I don't think they're a team. I don't think they're a very cohesive unit. And I could see them not even making it out of this group. Yeah, I think that's
Costa Rica and the U.S.?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, well, why don't we talk about Group A in general right now? And who do you have making it out of Group A?
I do have Colombia winning the group, and I have the USA coming in second. I think any of these four teams can make it out of the group, to be honest. You look at a Paraguay roster, they have experience, but they also have some really, really exciting youth. You look at their forwards. By themselves, they have Jorge Benitez from Cruz Azul, who's an exciting striker. Nelson Valdez, of course, from Seattle Sounders. Then you have Antonio Sanabria. You know all about this guy, a guy who plays for Roma on loan at Sporting Gijón this year, was absolutely on fire, and a guy who can be one of the top strikers in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's great.
And, he's a guy to be afraid of. And then you have another Roma player who was Argentine, who played for the Argentinian national team, but who switched to Paraguay, I believe, Juan Iturbe. Who's going to be an asset in the.
Oh, I didn't. He's on the roster.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's reported to be coming back to Roma for this season.
And that's 11 goals for Juan Iturbe for Sporting Gijón this year in 30 appearances.
You mean for Antonio Sanabria?
Sorry, yeah, for Antonio Sanabria for Sporting Gijón in La Liga, and that's a team that really didn't have a whole lot of attacking talent. Yeah, and Juan Iturbe, he's a good player. And he's going to be playing for his Paraguay national team. No,
he's definitely got some talent. You can see it.
Yeah. But. And then you have Dario Lescano, who plays for Ingolstadt in Germany. Alfredo Morales' teammate. Another very exciting forward. This is a good team. You have Victor Ayala in the midfield, who's sort of a stalwart. And, this team, I really think a lot of people think, oh, this is the team that's obviously going to finish fourth in the group. I don't know if that's necessarily true. This is clearly the toughest group in the tournament, and Paraguay are a good team. That's all I really got to say in that sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Colombia are going to win it, and the United States are going to finish second. Now, even though you make a decent case with Paraguay.
Well, I mean, then they have also Celso Ortiz, another player you can't forget. 100 appearances for AZ Alkmaar in his career. He's got experience. Don't sleep on this team. Don't look at Paraguay and say, this is the easiest match in this group. We should win this easily. This is not Bolivia. This is not Puerto Rico. This is a team with the same talent level as Costa Rica.
But I want one match where you can say, okay, we're going to win this.
There's no matches like that. This is like the World Cup.
This is worse than the World Cup. Actually, I don't know.
No, I don't know about that.
I know.
Maybe. It's 3 teams that made it to the round of 16, 2 teams that made it to the quarterfinals in the World Cup that we have in this group, and 1 team that made it to the round of 16.
Wow.
It's a tough group. Yeah. You got the 4th ranked team in the world. You got Costa Rica. You got Colombia. I mean, these are great teams. So, it's going to be a very, very interesting group. That's why I really do believe that the United States has to get a result against Colombia in order for us to get through.
And Costa Rica will be a huge game. Watch out, we'll be at that game.
If you want to meet us, tweet at us, email us. We'd love to meet you guys. We'll be sitting with the Outlaws. So,
yep, June 7th, 2016 in Soldier Field. It's probably going to be a huge game. I mean, all of these games are huge, right, for us to get out of the group. So, and the atmosphere is going to be great. We've been at Soldier Field before for a U.S. game.
So, and now I know you were a little down on this tournament. You weren't feeling it, but are you feeling it now?
Are you feeling it now?
2 days away?
I think I am. And it's probably because of how well the U.S. I was just kind of down on the whole U.S. national team thing.
Yeah.
Before these 3 friendlies. But, Jurgen's done a good job, and I'm actually starting to like him, honestly. I like watching his Facebook chat.
Yeah, no, I do like him. I really do. And we both want him to succeed, because that means the U.S. is succeeding. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We don't dislike him. We want him to succeed. So, and most Jurgen Klinsmann detractors want the same thing. We want a good U.S. national team.
Exactly. Moving on to Group B, we have Brazil, Ecuador, Haiti, and Peru. And, the biggest name on the page that stands out is Brazil, right? But they do not have Neymar, probably the best player on the national team. But they do still have a couple forwards in there. They have Coutinho. They have Hulk.
Douglas
Costa, right?
No, Douglas Costa was true. Kaká then also had to withdraw, so Gonzo is going to be there. Remember him from the Brazilian league.
God, Orlando City. Why did you put pressure on him?
Well, no Douglas Costa, but you have Roberto Firmino, who's a very talented player. Wait, Brazil are in Group C, aren't they? No, Group B. You're right. So they still have a really, really talented roster. Defensively, they have a good roster. They have Felipe Luis back there, who's going to be good. Miranda, another good player. Still, no matter who they throw out there, they're still probably more talented than their opponent. And looking at the team, Ecuador, I think, can give them a run for maybe first place, because I think they're both gonna get 2 wins at least in this group against Haiti and Peru. It's really gonna come down to Brazil versus Ecuador, which is the first match actually for both those teams
in the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
Wow,
I just like looking at these stadiums. I don't know.
Yeah,
since I'm familiar with all of them. That's definitely going to be one of the biggest games. And who do you think Peru, right, has a better chance of qualifying than Haiti?
Yeah, definitely. But I think neither team has a really good chance of qualifying. Haiti has some decent talent. Jeff Louis for Caen in France, decent player, 1 goal in 8 matches for them. But that's not really playing enough. Duncan's Nazone, he's a player who maybe can get it done in CONCACAF. Don't really see him doing that against the likes of Miranda. It's really going to come down to if they can defend and maybe hit on the counter. So
yeah, I don't know. And Brazil, I don't know. For some reason, I just don't believe in them. I'm just going Ecuador first. Brazil.
I think that's valid. Ecuador are a good team. Yeah. This is a team that's on top of CONMEBOL qualifying.
Yeah. And Brazil's had one friendly where they beat Panama 2-0, but I wasn't that impressed with them, honestly.
Yeah.
I really want to say Ecuador wins first, and we'll talk later about why. But
I think Brazil are going to go through.
Yeah.
I think Brazil are going to finish first in the group, and Ecuador are going to finish second. I don't think it's going to be very convincing, but I think it's going to happen. I see Ecuador going farther in this tournament, though, than Brazil.
Right. And, let's move on to Group C, where we've got Mexico, Uruguay, Jamaica, and Venezuela. Who do you see coming out on top here?
I see Mexico finishing on top. Uruguay have not been convincing in the last 2 tournaments they've played, in the Copa America and in the World Cup. Uruguay got through, but finished below Costa Rica. And without Luis Suarez, I don't even see him getting out of this group. I think Mexico go through on top. You have a player like Andres Guardado, who's the best player in CONCACAF right now. An exciting winger like Jesus Tecatito Corona. You have Chicharito, one of the best strikers in the world, in my opinion. They're a team who I feel like are going to win the group. Uruguay has Cavani. They have some other players. Diego Godin, probably the best defender in this tournament. Yeah. But I think Jamaica has a shocking result against Uruguay and gets through as the second place team in this group. You have Wes Morgan, Giles Barnes up front, some exciting players, Darren Maddox. I feel it.
You think Jamaica are going to get out?
Yeah, I think they're going to finish second in this group. This is my bold prediction.
I mean, yeah, looking through the roster, I think defensively Uruguay is pretty solid.
A player to watch on this team, a Uruguay team, is Carlos Sanchez from Monterrey. One of the best players in Liga MX this year, and for a team that finished second in the Clausura, he's a great outside midfielder, and I can see him making an impact in this tournament. But you have Abel Hernandez, who wasn't really convincing up front for Hull City. If Luis Suarez is not there, you have Diego Roland, as Tom Marshall said, and then you have 2 other championship strikers. It's not like Jamaica doesn't have players to that caliber.
Championship, soon to be Premier League.
Fair enough, both of them, yeah.
Yes.
And in the midfield, they have some better players. They have Gaston Ramirez, another...
Okay. But I think you're sleeping on Edinson Cavani. When is Cavani
Who's going to get him the service?
Gaston Ramirez?
No, I think Carlos Sanchez is the one. Vecino is a good player. Arevalo Rios is probably going to play defensive midfield, the former Chicago fireman. He's probably going to play in that defensive midfield role. He's too old now. He's not the same player he was. defense is where they have a good. They have a chance.
Yeah.
They have Jose Jimenez and Diego Godin, the Atletico Madrid partnership. They're going to shut teams down. Muslera, one of the better goalkeepers in the world. But the midfield is underwhelming. Nicolas Lodero from Boca Juniors, good player, injured. He rumored to be going to the Seattle Sounders this summer. He's had a really good season. He's injured. He might not be fully fit. It really hinges on Luis Suarez being there. And I think...
Just there for the first match?
Well, yeah, and I think Luis Suarez, if he's not there, they're definitely not... I really don't think they're going to make it out of the group. If he is there, I feel like there's always a chance he does something stupid and gets sent off. And I'm joking, but I'm underwhelmed by this team, by their performances in World Cup qualifying. I don't even know if they make it to the 2018 World Cup. I think it's possible that they miss out, and I think they will miss out.
Well, that's where I just disagree with you.
And why is that?
Because, I think you're... Okay, this center back pairing has played so many matches throughout La Liga, and Atletico Madrid
Jimenez was dropped for Salvage in the Champions League final.
Yeah, I know. And Godin was injured for several games at the end of the season. But towards that middle section and beginning section, we still saw this partnership do fine. And both Pereiras are proven fullbacks in Europe, and I think that Edinson Cavani has never really not stepped up to the plate. He plays with a lot of good players in the front lines. Okay,
yeah,
and I think that when you play him, even at striker, and even if Luis Suarez isn't there, he can score goals and he can create, and he's shown it at every club he's been at. And don't sleep on Cavani, please.
No, definitely. And I think, obviously, I won't be surprised if they get through. They're going to qualify for the World Cup. I think they will.
Yeah.
I just think there's a chance they don't.
This is a weak roster. I'll say that. And originally, I did predict Uruguay to win the group, but I'm not sure. You swayed me a little bit. I think they might just finish second. Yeah.
I think Mexico, they have home field advantage, too. Don't forget that.
That's true.
So, I think Mexico are going to finish top of the group, and Jamaica are going to finish second.
Oh.
That's
yeah.
what...
it's in Phoenix, too. Yeah, it's going to be heavy Mexico.
That's my bold prediction.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works out.
All
right. You know what, though? I picked Costa Rica to get out of that group in the World Cup, and it did work out. I picked them to win the group. So,
Yeah.
This is the one I'm hinging my beliefs on.
Group D features Argentina, Chile, Panama, and Bolivia. And when you look at this roster, this group, who do you think the best player in this group is? Because it's pretty debatable.
Are you serious?
No. Messi.
Yeah, well, I was thinking maybe Gonzalo Higuain or Angel Di Maria.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Well, Argentina are going to win this group. Chile are not in great form. Alexis Sanchez not in amazing form. Argentina, Sergio Aguero, Di Maria, Messi, Gonzalo Higuain. How do you even get those four on the field? Then you have midfielders like Mascherano, Biglia, a great defense back there. Romero, a goalkeeper, who I'm not a big fan of. But they're easily going to get through, and I think they're going to win the group. Chile, however, are going to finish second because you look at the other two teams, Panama and Bolivia. Bolivia sucks, cut and dry. They have Melian, who's a player I really like. Just not great. Their striker also is decent, but he can't create on his own. Panama, they have Godoy from San Jose, who I think might be a good player. They have Blas Perez. But, aside from that, they don't have a whole lot going for them.
I think this one is going to line up how I see it from 1, 2, 3, 4 right now.
Yeah.
Argentina, Chile, Panama, then Bolivia. I don't know what that is based on. It's not alphabetical.
That's based on their pots.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
I agree with you. I think that's how it's going to play out. Argentina are a very, very exciting team. Di Maria and Messi. Whoever plays up there is going to be an exciting team. And it's time for Messi to win a tournament, a major tournament at the international level. He hasn't done that yet. And I think that's what's going to happen. Spoiler alert. That's my prediction. Argentina are going to win this tournament.
But I don't think people are going to use that in the end with arguments comparing him to Maradona and everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
This is a big competition, but not that big.
I agree with you.
And then we both kind of made predictions for the knockout stages. So in the quarterfinals, the first matchup is the winner of Group A versus the runner-up of Group B, which Nihal said was Colombia versus Ecuador.
Yeah.
And you picked Colombia to win that match?
I picked Ecuador to win that match.
Oh, really? I wasn't actually reading.
Yeah, Ecuador are on top of World Cup qualifying in CONMEBOL. I think Ecuador are going to be able to catch them on the break and win this match. You know, they have some good players. I really do like Paredes at right back. He wasn't great against the U.S. They have Ener Valencia up top. They have also Antonio Valencia on the team, I believe.
I don't know who has more confidence in Ecuador, because I picked them to win the group but lose to Colombia. You predicted them to...
Wait, so you had Colombia finishing second in the group?
I had Ecuador...
Winning the group and beating us? Or Costa Rica?
No. Yeah, wait, sorry. Wait, hold on, sorry. Let me adjust this.
If Ecuador wins the group, then you... Oh, no, because you have Brazil finish... Wait, what?
Yeah, I had...
Who do you have finishing second in Group B?
Brazil.
Oh, so Ecuador...
So Colombia beating Brazil.
But... Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. No, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have Colombia beating Brazil. And then I'll get to Ecuador and...
Yeah. Well, okay, let's just go through it. I have Colombia beating Ecuador, Colombia being the winner of Group A, Ecuador being the runner-up in Group B. I have Argentina being the winner of Group B, beating Jamaica, the runner-up in Group C. I have Brazil and USA playing, the winner of Group B versus the runner-up of Group A. I have the USA winning, shocking upset. And then I have Mexico, the winner of Group C, beating Chile, the winner of Group D. So my quarterfinals are Ecuador versus Argentina and the USA versus Mexico. Those are my predictions.
Yeah. So if we take a second and look at my predictions, then in the first game in Seattle, I have Colombia beating Brazil, because I picked Brazil to finish second in Group B and Colombia to win. And then the second match, I have Argentina versus Mexico. I didn't predict Mexico to win the group. I actually picked Uruguay, but I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about that right now. And I predicted Argentina to win that match, which puts Colombia and Argentina in the semifinals on that side, and then Ecuador and the U.S. on the other side, and Uruguay and Chile. And then I predicted U.S. to beat Ecuador, which would be a very hard match, but I picked the U.S. and Chile to beat Uruguay. So then in my semifinals, I have the U.S. beating Chile and actually advancing to the final, and Argentina beating Colombia, and then U.S. losing to Argentina in the final.
Okay, well, interesting. So I have Ecuador and Argentina in the first semifinal, as I said.
I'm disappointed that you chose Mexico.
I have Argentina winning. And in the other semifinal, I have Mexico versus the U.S. That's going to be in Chicago. We might have to make our way back if they're over there.
Yeah, that's awful. Why would you do that?
Wait, June 22nd. Are we going to be in France? No, we won't be.
Yeah, possibly.
No, we won't be. June 24th. But I have Mexico beating the U.S. I just,
That is so dumb.
I know.
Actually, it's going to go straight to penalties and we're going to lose.
That's probably what's going to happen.
I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast, but in the Copa America, there is no extra time except in the final.
Right.
Obviously in the group stage, there's never extra time, but in the knockout rounds, the quarterfinals, and the semifinals, after 90 minutes, it just goes straight to penalty kicks.
Yeah. And then in the final, I have Argentina versus Mexico, and like I said, Argentina winning the tournament. So we have two different brackets. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not very confident about my Jamaica pick, but, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm confident about Uruguay winning, but
yeah.
Uruguay beating out Mexico for first place in that group.
True. All right, want to do group awards, or tournament awards?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you go ahead and say your Golden Boot winner?
My Golden Boot winner is Gonzalo Higuain, a man who scored 36 goals in Serie A this season, a man who is on fire, and I just don't see him stop scoring. with the distribution he's going to get, where he's in a group with some of these other guys. You know, I feel like it's what's Panama and Bolivia. I mean, it's a group that he can score a bunch of goals on, and I feel like Messi's going to be more of a distributor in this match.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Our friends at the Total Soccer Show said that Higuain would be more the distributor. What is your combatant?
Did you just call them our friends?
I mean,
I hope so.
Literally saying our friends.
I hope so. That's right. They did say that. I mean, I think he could be a distributor, but I don't agree with that. I think Messi and Di Maria are going to be more of the distributors, and I think Higuain is going to be the one up front scoring his own goals.
Yeah.
His own goals being the goals he's going to score, not own goals.
I was going to pick Higuain too, but now I don't want to.
Okay.
But I feel like
Chicharito's a good shot.
I mean, if I'm picking Argentina to make the final, yeah, but I'm wait. Where am I saying that Mexico goes?
So you can pick Higuain. It's a smart choice.
Okay, fine. Okay. But I want to see James score some goals.
Okay,
I just want to.
That's fair enough. I think Chicharito is the other one who could be up there for me.
Yeah, Chicharito is a great player.
Yeah. All right, Golden Ball.
Yeah, Golden Ball. I'm going to say. This is probably stupid, but I'm going to say Michael Bradley.
Oh my gosh! And why is that?
I think if Clinton continues to play him at this role, he can have a defensive presence, an offensive presence. He can play the long balls. He can allow the midfielders ahead of him to play in a more creative role. I don't know if that's something they take into account, but he can make the interceptions. He can do set pieces. He can head off set pieces. He can deliver the set pieces. What can he do? Is there anything this kid can't do?
Well, I think my Golden Ball winner is Andres Guardado for pretty much the same reason. I think he's going to score some long shots. I think he's going to lead this team to the final. He's going to be a distributor. He's going to control that midfield. He's going to be up and down. He's going to be a box-to-box midfielder. And he's just a class player. He's a fantastic player.
There was a podcast we mentioned on the last episode. And I think you should join that podcast and leave this one. The Mexican Soccer Show. I think it would be perfect for you.
I can appreciate this Mexican. I hope we beat them. I really dislike the team, objectively.
No.
Or subjectively, excuse me. But objectively, they're a great team. So, what am I going to
That's not the American attitude. I believe that we will win.
Well, I believe that we will win too, but belief is not rational.
Okay. And your Golden Glove?
I would have gone with Keylor Navas if he wasn't injured and missing this tournament. So I am going to go with whoever is starting in net for Mexico, whether it's Talavera or Memo Ochoa, because I think they're still going to have a lot to do. But I think they're going to do well, whoever it is. I think, Romero, I guess, could win by default.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well, Romero, I don't know.
I
just picture Romero for Argentina, and I picture him saving a couple PKs against Netherlands in the semifinals in 2014.
Right. Omar Bravo is another
good keeper. He did a decent job in that tournament.
Yeah. Omar Bravo is another good keeper. I think I could see him.
Yeah.
And also Muslera, who I think is the best goalkeeper in this tournament. I'm going to switch to Omar Bravo. I think defensively Chile are going to be really sound. And I think he's going to be making a lot of saves, especially in their match against Argentina. I think that's maybe where he wins his Golden Glove award, against Argentina.
Okay. And who do you think will be the most breakout performer?
Biggest breakout performer?
We didn't plan this one.
I'm going to go with Christian Pulisic. I think he's going to have multiple goals and an assist or two. And I think he's going to really cement himself as one of the U.S.'s best players going forward. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a guy who a lot of people are going to doubt before this match, but he is just going to come through.
This tournament?
This tournament, yeah.
Who?
Mark Geiger. I think he's going to do it. I mean, I know South America is full of divers. I mean, okay, but no offense, but I think he's going to make the right calls, and he's going to step up to the plate, and he is going to deliver some solid matches.
Okay. Real breakout player.
No, seriously.
No, seriously.
Okay. I'm going to go with my boy Antonio Sanabria. Let's do it.
Okay,
Paraguay. I think he's going to score a couple goals.
I'm excited about him. He's a great player. You should be excited to have him back at Roma.
Yeah, I think, we might not actually keep him. I need to read into those transfer rumors because Gijon really, really want him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to conclude the main part of our episode. But before we leave, we got to talk about Ambitious Strike, the amazing soccer-themed clothing brand. If you want to check out their merchandise, go to ambitiousstrike.com.
Yep, that's spelled AMBITIOUSSTRYK.com. Go check them out. The link is in the description. Use the code BROTHERS at checkout for a 15% discount on your entire order. Also, make sure to check out our previous episode number 46, where we had Tom Marshall on the show. Wonderful interview, great guy to talk to, gave us some insight on the Mexican national team, apparently a team you think I should be supporting now. But
send your application.
Yeah, exactly.
Before it's too late.
It was a great interview, so go check that out.
It was really good.
Yeah.
He had some nice insight on the team, and I think he had some pretty good expectations for what the Mexican national team can do in this tournament.
Exactly.
You can check us out on SoundCloud, on iTunes. Subscribe if you're on iTunes. Like or follow us if you're on SoundCloud. Our Twitter and Instagram is at SoccerBrothersPod. That's the handle, and we're also on Facebook.
Yep, and if you have any, let us know what your predictions for this Copa America are. Your Copa America winner, Golden Boot, Golden Glove, Golden Ball. Let us know what they are. Email us at SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. SoccerBrothersPodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. You can also tweet at us, as Sahil said.
Yes, and with that, we'd like to wrap it up. Thank you for listening, and see you.
We'll see you guys next time for episode 48 of the Soccer Brothers Podcast.